Alright, so I had a bunch of episodes of me just exploring, and it didn't really have anything too beneficial to talk about or anything really important. It was mostly just me running around looking for mountains and building paths in the nether to, spawners that I found. I found a spider spawner, and then I found another spider spawner with a zombie spawner next to it, which was incredibly lucky, but you'll see that in the video. I also found another trial chamber, which was really annoying, but like cool. Okay, we have another one. But I was just looking for ancient cities, and I just could not find one for the life of me. Like, I looked all over, I couldn't see any. So I'm just gonna go back to base next episode. Because there's really no reason for me to keep exploring. I mean, I found like a couple of really cool things, but that's about it. But I am going to go back to base next episode. But for this episode, I just want to put out my thoughts on the ancient city, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to skip the ancient city. If it's going to be this big of a pain in the ass, then I'm not going to fucking go find one, okay? Like, if it's going to be this bad, I might as well just say, fuck it, I can find one, that's fine. So I'm just going to talk about it here. The ancient city is, very simply put, a simple structure that doesn't have very much to it. It's very simple, and I hate that fact. The only thing to really find there is the shift sneak, which allows you to sneak faster, and the many hoes with tons of silk touch, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want to enchant a hoe, was because I could find one in this ancient city, and then there you go, then I ruined a perfectly good hoe. You can also find diamond pants here, and then that's it. Diamond pants, diamond hoe, that's it. That's all you can find. Iron pants, useless. Absolutely useless. Why do we have iron in a very cool structure like this? This structure should have netherite scraps, diamonds galore, tons of unique items. Like, there should be tridents, maces, heavy cores, all kinds of things in this structure. This structure should be laced to the brim with good items. And on top of that, the warden needs an upgrade. The warden itself is very simple. Its whole gimmick is to just wander about listening, and if it hears you, it will come and get you. But its limitations are just too high. It can completely be stopped by fucking walls, completely be stopped by you just running away. Like, when it's coming out of the ground, it does not hear anything. So you can literally just run away as it's coming out of the ground, which means that it doesn't bother you. You can just get away from it. There's nothing stopping you. Just run. What are you going to do? Like, touch another screecher block? Too bad screechers have cooldowns. They can't activate another screecher if one screecher is already screeching. Now, multiple screechers can screech at the same time, but only one warden can be summoned at a time. However, after the screecher is finished and the warden is summoned, another screecher can summon another warden. There can be multiple wardens, but only one screecher can summon a warden at a time. Which is what I'm trying to say. Like, you can basically just manipulate it and just run away. If you have shift sneak, this whole dungeon becomes completely pointless. Shift sneak basically makes this whole thing 10 times easier. But here's the problem. Shift sneak is only founded in ancient cities, making it completely useless. So now you have this really cool enchantment that could basically help you with multiple, things. Like in the nether, you have to sneak around in order to put down blocks underneath you for bridges, and you have to constantly shift in the nether, but there's no shift sneak in the nether. Shift sneak should be in the nether and in the bastions and stuff, and then in the bastions, soul speed should also be put into the ancient cities. Ancient cities should also have soul speed. It should also have other enchantments, and all the enchantment books should be locked into tier 5, 4, and 3. None of this tier 2, tier 1 crap. It should always have really high enchantments that are really strong, because you're risking your life to go into this ancient city, but because the warden is not a threat, it's no longer risk your life for cool shit. It's now just fuck with the warden, go grab stupid shit, and then leave. Echo shards, completely pointless. They make a compass that points you to your death spot. I haven't even died to anything important yet. Like, I just been fall damaging myself by accident. You know how easy it is to go back to your death spot? You literally just remember coordinates and then you just go to them. It's not a problem. What is a problem, though, is the lack of good weapons, and I feel like that is what, you know, Mojang should focus on. Because honestly, with the mace, that's, like, decent, but we can definitely do better. We can do way more weapons than that. We can do something a little bit more special than just falling and able to do more damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't seem right that we have all this extra content, but none of it leads to anything useful to the game. And I'm not saying like decorative blocks are bad, but what I'm saying is like we're just focusing on decoration when we should focus on gameplay. What would change the game? What would make the game better? You know, what we're focusing on is the extra stuff. And I like the extra stuff, but can the extra stuff be put with some actual content, some actual good game stuff that would make the game a little bit better? For example, the Echo Shards could be put into a, you know, Morning Star, maybe a Morning Star called like the Shiver, and it would shiver every time you like get a kill, and when it shivers, it makes a little, like, you know, echo sound, like a little, whatever it's called, the skulk sound. And when it does that, it would send a signal that would, you know, trigger other enemies to be stunned for a second. Like they get feared because they think they're in the deep dark. That'd be kind of cool. It'd be a fun way to like de-aggro multiple enemies at the same time. And maybe if you're fighting piglins, you could de-aggro them and then they leave you alone. Maybe for Endermen, it'd be the same thing. So if you want to de-aggro a bunch of enemies at the same time, the little stick, the echo, or maybe even the shiver would de-aggro a whole bunch of enemies, allowing you to get away. That would be useful in a lot of situations. Hell, I would even put the Echo Shards into a club. 2 heavy cores with like 1 blaze rod and or breeze rod, and you'd make a club, and it would just be called the Murmur. And the Murmur would basically send out a shockwave of sound that would shove people back and deal extra damage. It'd deal more damage the more enemies you knock out. So if you knock out a zombie, it sends out an echo hitting multiple enemies that are through walls. That'd be so cool. You could hit through walls. If you kill one enemy, boom, you send out a sound wave blast similar to the Warden, but it'd be a shorter range and it'd be less, you know, damage. It'd be so cool to be able to shoot out some echo blasts and be able to work with sound. And all you'd have to do is just change the Echo Shards to be more of a extra item that could be turned into a compass, a Morning Star, and a club. And I say this all the time, like add a spear, add a, you know, compound bow and all that stuff. And the ancient city would be perfect for that because it's an ancient city. You'd find ancient technology. You'd find ancient things like gears and, you know, rods and other kinds of things. Maybe you would find a blacksmith room, and the blacksmith room would have like 2 to 3 anvils and maybe even some extra things that could help you find more weapons. Because if there was a blacksmith room in an ancient city that would give you a heavy core, that'd be really cool. It'd be a guaranteed heavy core. As long as you find an ancient city, you'd be guaranteed at least 1 heavy core. Out of all the like stuff, you could find a blacksmith, maybe even find an armory, and in the armory you could find the Murmur as a weapon in a chest, and it'd be like low durability. You'd have to fix it up with mending and stuff like that. That would be cool, just to be able to find weapons and be able to find items and be able to work with so many things. But it's really sad when they don't do that and they're like, oh yeah, let's just make it to where you could find glowberries. And it's like, why? Why glowberries? Glowberries don't do anything. Glowberries are a trash item. That's one of the reasons why I hate the ancient city, is because there's no reason to go to it. There's no reason to find it. There's no reason to look at it. If you do find it, ignore it. There's no reason to go. The only way you'd ever get any benefit out of it is if you somehow found the shift sneak or any of the, you know, diamond hose and pants, and that's it. That's the only benefit. And even then, you can easily just break the chest and run away. break the chest, run away, put it in another chest as the warden's looking for you. You can easily get away. And shift sneaking is not even like slow to begin with. You can just push the sprint button as you're sneaking, and you'll be able to just get around. There's no problem to it. The only problem with sneak is that it's a very limited mechanic, and with this new update to the ancient city, maybe update the sneak to be more efficient to get away from enemies, because some enemies can't see you that far away if you sneak. If you sneak, you get like 5 or 4 extra blocks to get away from enemies. They can't see you that well. But with shift sneak, maybe they wouldn't be able to see you even if they're looking at you. Like if you get in their eyesight, maybe it takes a second for them to actually see you. That way you can shift sneak around strongholds and not run into enemies. If you run into a creeper, guess what? You just back up. He didn't see you yet, back up. Shift sneak would increase the range where creepers and zombies and skeletons can't see you. Maybe spiders would still be able to see you because they got so many eyes. Maybe silverfish. But like creepers, zombies, and skeletons, giving them less range to see you would be perfect. Maybe the same thing for piglins. But another problem with this is that shift sneak is not really useful for that. And it's only founded in the ancient city. So now you have to go, because if you want shift sneak, there it is. Too bad, you're going to have to go get it. And it has all these shitty items and shitty weapons and shitty everything that it's not even worth your time. They need to update it like the Bastion, where if you go into a Bastion, it's still kind of helpful early game. You can still get iron, you can still get gold, you can still get like a diamond pickaxe and maybe even some swords and stuff. It's still kind of helpful, but it's an early game dungeon. You can easily get to it. Like the Bastion and the Stronghold are 2 of the earliest dungeons you can go to, with the earliest being the Nether Fortress. That's like the main one that you can easily get to. You got ocean monuments that really are hard to explore. You have the, trial chambers. Those are hard and difficult. But then the ancient city comes in, and it's not difficult at all. It's just annoying. And honestly, I think it could be more fun. I think there should be more sound traps. The warden should get an update that allows it to hunt a little bit better, finding the player a little quicker, finding the player in awkward situations where they're trying to get away, and you can easily like sneak up on the player and just teleport around. Maybe only have it to where 1 warden can spawn at a time, but that 1 warden is super efficient and will hunt you down relentlessly, making it completely impossible to like hide forever. You gotta actually get away. You have to actually leave the city for a bit and then come back. I think that would be a lot more fun than what it is right now, which is a dumb mob that you can easily avoid and walk away from. Hell, I shot at one and it still couldn't get to me because it was stuck on water, and I thought that was the funniest thing, and you saw that in this video. I just shot at it just to fuck with it, and then I just left. It couldn't do anything. It's just a useless mob. But what if it could dig underground and then teleport to you? That'd be fucking horrifying. That'd be amazing. You'd basically cause a noise and it would dig to that noise and it would try to find you a little bit more quickly. If it doesn't detect the player within a certain distance, it should teleport close to the player, but not like so close that it like immediately detects you. Close enough to where it's like trying to figure you out. That'd be so cool. Maybe after a certain distance, if you run away from the origin point, it'll disappear. That'd be nice. But instead it just lingers, makes a whole bunch of heartbeat noise, and you just wait for the heartbeat to go away. But maybe it should be harder to get away from him. Maybe it should be harder to hide from him. But I don't know. This is Mojang we're talking about. They're probably not even going to touch the ancient city ever again. If they ever do touch the ancient city again, 100%, 1000% change the loot. Add more diamonds, add some nether scraps, add some things that players would be interested in, and then add full diamond armor and full, weapons and stuff. Add a whole bunch of tools and items. Change the loot from weird dungeon loot to actually good ancient city loot. Add some heavy cores, add some tridents, add reasons to go there. It's an ancient city, but, it was abandoned rather quickly, Nobody's going to leave behind trash. They're going to leave behind good shit because they're scared of this goddamn warden, and they just leave behind a bunch of good stuff. But instead, we get trash, we get glowberries. It's like, hello, we don't want to go get glowberries. The only reason I'm looking for the ancient city is to mark it off my list. I don't even want to explore it. I don't care about it. The only thing interesting about it is the shift sneak, and that's it. I don't even want the death compass. I can easily find where I died. I know where I died. Like, it's right over there. It's easy to find. Like, I don't really care about this whole city thing. If anything, it's more annoying because it's in your way and you want to do it just to get it out of your way. And the only way to make it better is to add more. Because clearly it's lacking in a lot of departments. A lot of the items aren't very fun. A lot of the ideas are kind of pointless. Some of the ideas are really nice, like adding booby traps, like that make sound and then the warden gets summoned. That's smart. They should do more of that. You know, that's a genius way to fuck with people's expectations. They go inside of a trap door thinking, oh yeah, I can easily get items, and then boom, screecher block. Hell, I would even make it to where certain types of buttons don't make sounds, to where the player's like, oh, well, it's just a button, it's not going to do anything. And then one button in the ancient city leads to a note block. And then all of a sudden, the button is bad. So you have to break the button, which makes noise, or you have to put, like, you know, a whole bunch of wool around the button. And that's another thing. Wool just completely cancels this place out. If you have wool, it just completely stops and it doesn't make any sense to go to it, which is one of the reasons why I have a wool farm, just to fuck with the ancient city and just say, oh yeah, this is bad, you know, let me show you. And I put down a bunch of wool, but no, I can't even do that because it's being a little bitch. It's not showing up, so I'm like, you know what? No more ancient city. After this episode, we're going to go back to normal episodes, because this was a bunch of episodes I just crammed together. It was too much content of me running around, but because I didn't have an achievement, it didn't feel right to, you know, slice it up. And sadly, my fucking game closed anyway, so it's like, fuck, now I also still don't have an achievement, so now I have to fucking walk back home, a whole ass video of me walking back home again. I might just record me doing it, get back home, and then start the episode back there. But like, oh my god, man, like, looking for this ancient city was not worth it. It's so stupidly dumb to find. It really should be a map that a villager has. Maybe if you give a villager a skulk sensor, just drop it on the ground, they pick it up, and then they immediately drop the map and then run away from you. And then the whole day they're scared of you and they won't talk to you or anything. They'll run. You know, that would be cool. That'd be a funny interaction, to give them a skulk-based item with Silk Touch, and then all of a sudden they freak out and throw a map leading you straight to the ancient city. And I think the map should be like at least, you know, whatever the closest one is, but maybe like the second closest one. That way you don't immediately, you know, walk into one. Because they aren't common, but they're also not rare. You know, like, they're medium rare. They're uncommon. Like, you can easily go to any mountain and find them. I'm just really fucking unlucky here. Like, I should have found one lickety-split after, like, the second mountain, but I just didn't find one, which is fine. It happens. You know, sometimes these things are pretty goddamn rare. But what I will do, and what I will say, is even though I couldn't find an ancient city, I'm not saying you don't have to explore it. I say do explore it, just because it's something new, something that'll keep you busy. Some of the items are alright, like the skulk sensors can help you do funny redstone things, and you can make them calibrated sensors, and they'll target other calibrated sensors and stuff like that. So you can basically hunt down these sensors, make a bunch of redstone contraptions. The ancient city's just for redstone people, to be 100% honest. It's just for redstone people. It has a bunch of redstone in it. It's just a redstone area for them to play with. Honestly, ancient cities, you can ignore them. They don't really have anything important. If you want to go to them, have fun or whatever. But for me, they're just absolutely useless places. They have no purpose. They have no reason to be there. They just are in Minecraft, because why not? How I would fix it: new weapons, a bunch of armor in the chests, bunch of weapons in the chests, bunch of tools in the chests, heavy cores, tridents, book it to the fucking brim with good items. Like, goddamn, and make it to where the warden is a lot scarier. Where if you summon the warden, you gotta leave. There's no way you can deal with the warden. It will find you really quickly, you know what I'm saying? That would be scary. That'd be fun. Like, instead of it being like, oh, I can just walk away, run away, and it won't find me. No, make it to where it hears you running away anyway, and it will hunt you down faster. To where you have to sneak away as it gets summoned. That would be fucking scary. If it already had the ability to hear you as it's coming out of the ground, that would be terrifying. But no, instead you could just run away, it doesn't hear you, and it's like, where am I? And then it goes back underground, and then you just go get the loot. Shrug. It's a completely useless, like, entity, and I wish it was better. Sorry this whole episode was a rant. Sorry this whole episode was just cut up. But not cut up, it's sped up. But, like, I just don't want to edit all this shit. It's just too much of me running around, not saying anything, looking for this place. So, I think this is justified. I'm tired. It's New Year's Day, you know. I don't want to fucking be editing all day. I just want to do other stuff. I apologize, but honestly, justified. This stupid ass ancient city ain't worth it anyway. I would fix it, Mojang. 100% fix it. It's not worth it. It's not worth finding. It's not worth looking for. But if it was worth it, you know, if it had diamond armor, netherite scraps, heavy cores, tridents, if it had cool shit in there, maybe even some new shit, like the murmur, the weapon, the club, maybe even a morning star with the echo shards, then it'd be better. I would actually want to play. I would actually want to go to the ancient city, but not as it is right now. It's completely pointless. I'm just looking for it to cross it off my list, so I'm just gonna cross it off the list anyway. Fuck it. If it ain't gonna show up, fuck them. Do something else.